What's going on, everybody? We have Bitcoin almost testing those all-time highs. Bitcoin broke out of 69,000 yesterday and has been trying to head higher ever since. In this video, I want to talk about the spot Bitcoin ETFs. I want to look at Bitcoin on the chart, and I want to talk about some potential negative news, someone that might introduce some selling pressure. This will probably be a quicker video, but let's get started. Look at what the Bitcoin ETFs did yesterday. We saw 479 million of inflows, and BlackRock's IBIT brought $315 million in alone yesterday. And I don't know if you guys remember yesterday's video. I was talking about how this article basically said if we see $300 million of inflows by the end of this week, we will be at 1 million Bitcoin held by the spot Bitcoin ETFs. A day like this basically means they need somewhere around 250 million, give or take, over the rest of this week. You know, does it happen by the end of the week? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. We might get an outflow day. We might get a negative day, a pullback day. But regardless, you can tell where things are going. These spot Bitcoin ETFs are about to hold 1 million Bitcoin by the end of this week, by the end of next week. It is going to happen very soon. Then what's next? It's a matter of time until they surpass Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet. Then it's a matter of time until one of the spot Bitcoin ETFs alone holds 1 million Bitcoin, and that will happen at some point, believe it or not. And BlackRock, you know, I showed you guys BlackRock the other day. They're sitting over 400,000 Bitcoin alone. By the end of this year, they could be almost at 500,000 Bitcoin. And this is only the first year these spot Bitcoin ETFs have been live, have been active. Imagine in a couple more years, this Bitcoin is going to continue to funnel into the spot Bitcoin ETFs. You could argue, you know, what that means for decentralization, but that is a whole nother subject. But you know, the reality is there is going to be massive buying over Bitcoin. Institutionals are adopting Bitcoin. Wall Street has now accepted it. I mean, to think that it is going away, to think that it is going to fail at this point, that is just insanity. Now, looking at Bitcoin, we broke that previous cycle top and we have just been running since. You notice that? You notice how the market reacted on that clear break of the last cycle peak. This yellow line here, let me go way, way, way back. You know, go into the monthly, you'll see that the last peak right here in the last cycle was that 69,000. Once we broke that, we went parabolic. Obviously, you can't see it on the monthly, but you can see that we are trying to take out that bull flag. We are finally breaking out of this pattern. I would like to see us close out of the pattern, but this is exactly what we want. And like I said, keep an eye on this yellow ascending line. On shorter term time frames, it looks like we might not test it, but I think we are going to test it. Let me show you on a shorter term time frame. It does look like we're just flying away, and if we rally, that's great. At some point, we will come back and potentially test it. It could be in November and December, you know, from 70 to 80,000. It could be down the road. It could be in 2025. You know, it could be in 2025 at 140,000 we could test it. But I do think we are at some point going to test this uptrend we've been in. You can clearly see that this is the direction we have been going. I mean, look at that trend. This is the trend right now. This is no longer the trend in my opinion. The new trend is this until it gets invalidated, until it either breaks down or breaks up. I do think we are going to follow this pattern for some amount of time. But you know, in reality, it is a matter of breaking this all-time high and we go parabolic. We might find resistance first. It might not just happen this week. We might pull back. There might be some consolidation at this range, which is fine by me. If we can just bounce from the all-time high to the last cycle peak but maintain it as support, that is exactly what I want. I couldn't ask for more. We did see our golden cross the other day. I told you guys about that. The last time we saw the last golden cross was back here in 2023 of October when Bitcoin was like 35,000, and then it went on to double in a very short amount of time. One thing to be aware is on the 4 hour we are quite overbought, and I'm talking about like overbought that we haven't seen since basically summer of 2024. But like I said in my last video, guys, remember, we can go overbought and keep going a little further. This was overbought here, the highest level of overbought that I was just talking about, the highest level we've seen in overbought Bitcoin, you know, since very, very early in 2024. We don't see an overbought Bitcoin on the 4 hour like this. There will probably be a little pullback, but it might move higher after that, just like it did here. We pulled back a little bit, but we went higher. We overall kept running higher. So from this peak, it still ran another, you know, 7-8%. We could do something like that, sure. We could cool down a little bit. You know, we could cool down a little bit first and then have another 5, 6, 7%, break that all-time high, break this ascending channel, or find it as resistance, cool down, test that last cycle high again, make sure it holds up as support. We tested it here as resistance, retested it, broke out of it, had a double bottom there, and we broke out. Now it's a matter of possibly finding resistance here, testing this yellow line as a support. If we could flip that previous cycle peak as support, I think that is exactly what we want. And in my eyes, Bitcoin is looking fantastic. Just keep an eye on those divergences on shorter term time frames. Right now, I think we're looking okay, but keep in mind, if we find resistance here, if we don't keep moving higher, if we start cooling down, that would probably mean that the RSI is going to double top here, but the price is going higher. So we're starting to get a potential, not there yet, but we're getting a potential bearish divergence on the hourly. That is a short-term time frame. The market might ignore it. If we start seeing divergences on bigger time frames, that makes it a clearer pattern for the market to see. Right now, we might invalidate it. If we keep moving, then the RSI is going to keep going higher and it won't double top here. But keep an eye on it. If we do double top here, we might be due to cool down a little bit, test that previous cycle peak, which there's nothing wrong with. Now we do have some potential negative news I just wanted to mention. There's so many things to look over. Bhutan government moves $66 million of Bitcoin stash to Binance as the price tops 71K. Is the Bhutan government getting ready to sell? Are they planning, they think this is the top and they want to sell. They want to miss out on that 2025 rally, miss out on that Q4 rally. I think they'd be making a grave mistake if they sell now. And if they ever want to get back in Bitcoin, they are probably going to be buying it higher unless they could time the bottom next crypto winter. If we do get that low, if we do retest the 40,000s, if we do retest the 50,000s next crypto winter, who knows where we are by then? You know, if Bitcoin rallies to 200K by the end of the cycle, are we really going to lose 75% and go back to 50K? I mean, it's certainly possible. But at this point, I find something like that kind of unlikely. I do think that, you know, if they sell here at 70,000, 71,000, they may be forced to buy in higher in the future unless they can get really, really lucky and buy potentially next crypto bear market low, all-time low. Or low for that cycle, I should say. Mark my words, it is not going to go down to 15,000 ever again. But yeah, basically the Bhutan government, they transferred over $66 million worth of Bitcoin to Binance, a deposit wallet, suggesting that they may intend to sell. And they did actually sell shortly after Bitcoin broke 70,000. The Bhutan government wallet still holds $886 million worth of crypto, of Bitcoin I should say, and this could bring more selling pressure. It might take a while before we break those all-time highs. We do have a lot of volatility coming. We do have a lot of crazy events coming. We have PCE in like 2 days. We have the election, of course. We also have news of potential stimulus coming from the other side of the world. Now, you guys have probably seen this article before. $1.4 trillion China earthquake, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you've seen this title so many times, but this is actually a new article. It is not just regurgitated crap. We do have a date. Maybe I haven't been looking at these articles recently, but we do have a date, November 4 to November 8. The NPC, or National People's Congress of China, they could be giving a green light for stimulus. Maybe they do, maybe they don't, but this will be an event to look out for. If this is true, this could be a huge announcement. This will be huge news. Is this necessary for Bitcoin to rally? No, follow the cycle. But yeah, I mean, we got this going on with China, potentially the stimulus going on, or it's just the same article that we hear over and over and over for the last like 3 months, probably. We also, of course, have the FOMC. We have PCE in a couple days, and I'm sure there's something else I'm not thinking of right now, but it is going to be a crazy time. November is going to be insane. We might not just go parabolic. We might pull back. There might be retests. There might be a test of the 50 or the 200 MA that just recently crossed. There might be whales that take advantage and sell towards resistance to later buy in on a lower level or not. The 74K all-time high might be a hard level to break, but make no mistake, in my opinion, we are going to break it, and it is going to happen very soon. In my opinion, the 4-year cycle, not only is it very, very tied into supply and demand, I mean, the bear market is basically the in-between point of the halving, the middle point of the halving. You have two halvings, there's crypto winter right in the middle. There is a reason that it rallies into the halving and rallies afterwards. There's a decrease in the incoming supply. It is also a self-fulfilling prophecy because people know how the halvings work. People know to load up while it's low. People know to follow the halving. More and more people knowing this means more and more it will play out. You think Wall Street doesn't know, can't look at a chart and see the 4-year halving cycle? You think Wall Street can't look up Google and see what Bitcoin's halving is and why it's so important? They know exactly what Bitcoin is. They have accepted it. It is in with Wall Street now. They understand its economic value. They understand that there is no other asset known to man that I can think of that has a set supply, and the incoming supply of it gets cut in half every few years. Plus, its total supply, the vast majority of it is already in circulation. We are fighting for the last 4% of it. Is there another asset that has that feature? If there is, let me know so I can buy it. But thanks as always, guys. Let me know how bullish you are on Bitcoin. Do you see the big picture, or are you just swing trading it? Do you just see it as a way to make some quick money? How are you feeling about the Bitcoin miners lately? Things have been looking nice for them. It is going to get very, very exciting, and it has been. But yeah, thanks as always, guys. Maybe by the time you watch this, we're already testing those all-time highs. It wouldn't surprise me. It's really up to the market to decide, does it become a hard resistance for a little while, or do we just crush right through it and never look back? And thanks again, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.